Good afternoon, whoever wants to join in. I promised the other day when I went through my makeup bag that I would go through it again, but doing it live while putting my makeup on. So I've got to shoot this afternoon. It's very common for models to do their own makeup these days because we're self-employed, a lot of us, and often there's not a makeup artist involved. Sometimes there's a makeup artist involved, but not always. So I'm generally relied on to do my own makeup, and for me that's not too hard because A, I've been doing it for many years now, and B, I actually trained as a beauty therapist years ago when I took time out from performing and modelling, and I learned how to do professional makeup application. But I don't use all the things I learned. Quite a lot of the time it's just things I picked up along the way, tips I've picked up, products I've picked up, and I've kind of changed it over the years according to my skin's needs and the way work needs. So the first thing I just put on was primer. Primer preps the skin and makes sure you've got a nice smooth base, and makes it glow a little bit as well. I use the Urban Decay one because I really liked their setting spray to keep makeup on. So when they brought out a primer, I thought it'd be equally good. And I have to say, my makeup does seem to stay put even after hours. The only thing I tend to apply is powder to soak up excess oil, because when you're working you get warm, your skin naturally warms up and secretes oil anyway, and sometimes you're under hot studio lights, so you'll get even oilier. So if I just put powder on, it soaks up that oil and stops me being shiny. The second thing I've just put on it was my foundation, and that was, I'll show you it now. That is Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I use it in Ivory Nude, but obviously you're going to choose the colour that suits you. I find that's really high coverage, which is what you need. You don't need a lot thicker makeup when you're under cameras and under lights than you do normally every day. So it's high coverage to begin with, and also you can layer it up to give you a higher coverage, and sometimes it's less obvious that you've put a patch on it if you use extra bit of foundation than use concealer. So you can see where I've got like a couple of spots there. I can just pat that on with my finger and just make a slightly higher coverage over those little dots there, and it helps to conceal them. Next I put on concealer, which is the Blunder Cover. That's a very heavy duty one, so if I was going out just like day to day, I'd probably use either my Benefit one, sometimes I use that for photo shoots, or I've also got Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat as well somewhere here. And that's like a makeup artist staple as well. That's a really great one. Next, I'm gonna put on powder. So I've got two types of powder that I use. The first one I use is a setting powder. There we go. The first one I use the setting powder. My sister is a makeup artist, and she introduced me to this. It was actually our other sister's wedding. And I put my makeup, and I took along with me a little bag of makeup to just top up, basically concealer and powder, just to reapply throughout the night so that my makeup stays put. And she got out of her bag some Huda Beauty baking powder, put it around my under my eyes and around my T-zone where it gets oily, and then we put regular powder over the top of that. 4 AM and a ton of champagne later, and my makeup is still perfect, and I've been addicted to both setting spray and setting powder ever since. For my main powder, I really like the Kiko one because it not only is it good at absorbing oil, but it's a really high coverage as well. So again, it covers up like a foundation might do, and that really helps me as a model in front of the camera under lights, which tend to pick up everything. It means that I just get that extra little bit of coverage. And just now I said that, so that's the only thing I tend to top up throughout the day. And I'm going to, so this is what I use to top up rather than the baking powder one, because that gives that extra bit of colour as well. Next of all, I've got my eyeshadow. Now this is going to be something that's completely dependent on your needs, your colouring, and what kind of look you're going for. But I personally, I don't want necessarily gone out to the shop, gone out at night, kind of a glamorous look. Sometimes I just want something that knows I can't get this open today. There we go. I use that one because the light and the gold and the shimmery picks up the light and it kind of brightens up my eyes, because that's what I want to look personally when I'm doing photo shoots. Unless they've requested a particular style of makeup, I don't necessarily want to look like it all glammed up like I'm going out for the evening. Sometimes I just want to look like a better version of myself. So I find that this kind of brightens up my eyes, opens up, stops me looking tired, just that adds that little bit of sparkle. So that's what I put. I don't do any other eye colours. I just use that shimmery light gold one. Then I'm going to do my eyeliner. Now again, this is going to depend on the look you want and what kind of eye shape you've got, but I just do a line across the top. On the outside of the eye to make your eyes look bigger. And then a little flick at the outsides, again, to open up your eyes, make them look brighter. Now I don't put any on the underside of my eye. I only do it at the top and the outside. But then what I do is get a very thin brush, very little one there, and I kind of buff it along that way. Just blends it in just ever so slightly, makes it less harsh line. Obviously some people like that kind of harsh flicked cat's eyes look, but personally I just want to make my eyes a bit more wide awake. Go over the flick a little bit, and then I take the residue of on my brush under my eye, so it kind of drags it along, and it's giving me a little bit of colour under my eye, a little bit of eyeliner, but not nearly as harsh. It's more like an opaque black, not opaque, a sheer black, or sort of more a grey colour, so it's not quite as harsh underneath. Just that's the look that I like. Now, mascara I do in two ways. I don't know if there's any madness to my, any meaning to my methods, but I like to do about 3 coats of mascara. This one is Maybelline. I love Maybelline mascaras. They seem to do them really well, and they're really well priced as well. So I'll do top and bottom lashes about 3 times. Now the reason I do that is I've actually got quite long eyelashes, but as I'm genetically blonde, half my eyelashes are blonde and they look quite short and stubby. So all I need to do is put a decent amount of mascara on, and it really thickens and lengthens them. I did at one point have those individual lash extensions, but I tell you what, I'm going to go on to the next bit now and explain why I'm doing that. But it was a period of my life when I was very tired, very stressed, and I felt like I looked tired, which was affecting my mood, and I didn't like it, and I needed to brighten myself up to make myself feel better. So a friend recommended I get these individual lashes, and they did the job. And they made me wake up, and they made me look wide awake, they made me look brighter, and it had a knock-on effect of making me feel a bit better about myself when I was going through a really tough time in life. But I found that I was getting nervous about what I would look like without the lashes, and as a mum of 2 daughters who were coming up to their teen years at the time, that didn't sit well with me. I'm a firm believer that everyone should feel happy with themselves exactly as they are without having to do all these alterations to their face. I think it's a bad trend that's picking up and getting worse, and I don't like it, and I don't want my daughters feeling like they have to do loads of things to their appearance in order to be worthwhile. So I got rid of them for that reason, and it took a bit of getting used to not having them on. But now, if I'm having a day when I don't need a full face of makeup, but maybe I'm, I don't know, going for a coffee with a friend or something like that, I will just put a bit of concealer on and a bit of mascara on, maybe some powder if I'm having an oily skin day, and it really, really makes me look more awake and brightens up my eyes and makes a big difference. So that's all I use now is mascara. Now you can see I'm putting 3 coats on here. What I just did before is because you want drying time in between putting the coats on. So rather than waste time and just wait there, I put on my blusher, which I use cream ones because I prefer creamy formulas. And also they're better for my skin type as they get older. And I just put it on like that. I copied what my stepmom taught me when I was 13, like that. And on that kind of apple shape there. And that just gives you a little bit of colour, because obviously with all that foundation and concealer, it washes you up and makes you a blank canvas. So you need to add back that colour from your rosy cheeks that you might have had. Some people like to put highlighters, some people like to put more of a pink blusher on the apples, but no, I like just have the classic bronzer look. And then I did more mascara, and then I can probably put another coat on now, because I just had a break when I was explaining that to you. That's my third coat of mascara. It might seem excessive, but each time I do it, it makes a big difference. It makes a difference to the length and the thickness. Because I don't mind that kind of full slash look if it's done subtly. I don't like ridiculously overdone lashes, but just a little bit of brightness really looks nice. And as I said, I've got naturally quite long eyelashes. They just are blonde. So they need thickening and colouring, turning black. And that way I get that ever so slight full slash look without actually having full slashes. They are my own eyelashes, which I think is a win-win. And it means I can either use mascara or not. I'm not stuck with the kind of full slash look, which you're supposed to keep them on for about 2-3 weeks before having the gaps filled, ones that have fallen off. So it means I can choose when I have that look as well. And then this is the bit where I don't know if there's any method to my madness, but I like to seal it with a waterproof mascara, because I have a theory that if I put a waterproof mascara on top, it will seal it and it will put like a waterproof coat, and it will stop the mascara falling out and blending in with my skin, which can happen when you get hot and sweaty, or God forbid, rains on your face or something. But under normal work circumstances, more likely you're just gonna get a bit hot, get a bit warm, and then your eyelashes will touch your warm skin and you'll get eyelash marks where it's come off onto your skin. So I have a theory that if I put some waterproof mascara on the top, it kind of seals them and prevents it from falling off too much. Don't know if it works, but I can tell you that I don't tend to get leaking mascara however warm I am. So, and that's especially the case in summer when you really sweat a lot. Only 3 more things to go, sorry. We've got lipstick. Now, if I'm asked for like a gothy or kind of steampunk look, I might go for a really dark purple like that. Or I've got a bronze looking one, which is kind of steampunky as well. That one there. But 95% of the time, I'm using either Rimmel Fudge Brownie, or I'm going to use my other one, which is Coffee Something. I've got a pale one there if I want a really kind of natural look as well. And I've got some glosses if I want that kind of gloss natural look. But most of the time, 95% of the time, I'm going to try and find that other one for you as well. Show you. There we go, Coffee Shimmer or Fudge Brownie are my go-tos most of the time. I think I'm going to go for, only because I know that the looks that I'm having today are more casual, I'm going to go for the Fudge Brownie. That's a bit lighter. I don't use lip liner, but the other day, my lipstick, I was back home, most of my lipstick had come off, and I'd used the slightly darker one, the coffee shimmer, and it had left sort of a line on the outside of my lips, a bit like putting lip liner. All it was is the rest of the lipstick had come off, but it had left this kind of lip liner look on my lips. And because it was later in the day and it kind of seeped out just outside my lips as well, I noticed that having that dark liner just on the outside of my lips made my lips look fuller and bigger, in the same way that, say, fillers like hyaluronic, what is it, the fillers? There's fillers people put in their lips. It looks a little bit more like that. I don't like that fake look, but I can't deny that it didn't make my lips look bigger and fuller and better. So I think I'm going to invest in a lip liner as well. I'm not going to invest in fillers. I don't like them. Right, we've got 2 more things to go. One of them always gets lost in my bag, and that is my eyebrow pencil. Don't like really dark, fake-looking eyebrows. It looks more natural on people who are brunette anyway. Whereas I'm blonde, it would look too dark if I went for that really dark dyed look. But just a little bit of kind of the same brown of my existing ones, just to fill them in, give a little bit of definition. So say it's the same colour as my eyebrows are. It's not a really dark one. So it's just to make them look a bit fuller. You see, and you can actually shape your eyebrows to alter your face shape as well. So I might want to make them slightly longer like that. your eyebrows should be able to go like that to the outside of your nose, like that. That's the classic way of doing it. Eyebrow to corner of your eye to your nose. And then finally, I've got spritz. I've got an e.l.f. Spray this time, setting spray. But quite often in the past, I've used the Urban Decay one as well. That was the original and best. Might go back to that one, haven't decided yet. But this is a lot cheaper, these e.l.f. cosmetics. And I have found that they, my makeup still looks really good after hours. So if it's doing the job, I don't think I'm going to spend money on something more expensive. But it is very good, the Urban Decay one, I'm not going to deny. But as I say, my makeup isn't falling off with this, so why should I bother? So, a few spritzes of that all over. And that will seal the lot. And it will keep my makeup in place for longer. So, I'm going to go now because I've got to go to said job. But to everyone who's been watching, thank you very much. I'll save this video and upload it to my page as a video. All right, see you later, guys.